Baby Emmanuel's parents have apparently lawyered up. And I know when we say that term, when we say that phrase, people get all up in arms, but there's a bunch of different ways to look at it. And I think we all have to learn the lessons of history and take a look at this phrase that the parents have lawyered up, and what does it really mean? How will it impact this investigation? We've got all the details coming up. I'm Vinny Politan, and this, ladies and gentlemen, is Vinny Live.
Get ready, get set, let's go.
It's true crime, streaming live, worldwide. It's Vinny Live. It's true crime, streaming live, worldwide. It's Vinny Live. Get ready. So post inside the chat. Get ready for the prosecutor hat. Get set. To like and to subscribe, let's go. It's time for Vinny Live.
Special morning live stream. All right, let's get it going. So we all watched the parents, and I'll show it again during this video when they spoke, and it didn't play well. The public wasn't buying it, right? The public wasn't buying it. But none of us know the truth. Well, some of us do, not us, but there are people who know the truth. Obviously, mom and dad know the truth. And there may be some people within their sphere that know the truth. And there are people who know facts that will uncover the truth in all of this. And there's been a lot of chatter on social media about this case. And the world we live in a case like this, social media plays a huge role and a huge factor in all of it. Number one, obviously, people will have opinions. People will judge others. You're entitled to your opinions. We all are. But the other thing is, word about the case spreads, and information that people may have may be very important to the investigation. People might not know that it's important until the story starts to bubble up. And I think part of that is happening now, but I think investigators are working hard in this case. Now, the other reason everyone is suspecting the parents is because law enforcement came out and said very directly that there were inconsistencies in the mother's story about what happened in the disappearance of baby Emmanuel. So that sets the framework for everything. So it's not like, people online are questioning things and law enforcement isn't, because we've seen that happen as well. So law enforcement says inconsistencies. Law enforcement says they then shut things down. And now the parents have lawyered up. So what is happening? What is actually happening now? Well, this is a story that's happening out in California. It's, an hour and a half outside of Los Angeles. It's kind of in an area that is not densely populated, to say the least. But there's information that is making its way, and there are folks who are covering this, including Fire Photo Girl over at RMG News, and doing an amazing job, by the way, an amazing job in covering all of this. Let me see where I can go. Here we go. And she has gotten the official statement from Jake Harrow's lawyer, Vincent Hughes. The parents of the 7-month-old infant that was reported kidnapped Thursday, August 14th in Yucaipa seek answers about their missing child, Emmanuel Harrow. Jake Harrow is fully cooperating with law enforcement and investigators. So their lawyer says that Jake, or it might just be his lawyer, by the way. And I think that's the way it's going to play, because that's something else I want to talk about here, is whose lawyer is this? Here, it seems what's being reported is that this is Jake Harrow's lawyer. And that's significant. Why is that significant? Because at some point in this case, mom and dad may not see things the same way. Okay? This is why lawyers in criminal cases don't represent more than one defendant, because there's going to be potential conflicts in the defenses for one party and for the other. And in this case, that could very well be the case. Jake obviously needs a lawyer because of his history. And for those of you not familiar with his history, this is a big part of why he would have a lawyer. Okay? This is some reporting by the Register. 2018, Harrow and I guess his prior girlfriend or wife, 10-week-old daughter was admitted to the hospital, and doctors reported to police that the little girl had an acute fractured rib, 6 ribs with healing, fractures, a skull fracture, brain hemorrhages, swelling of the neck, and a fractured leg bone that was healing. The combination of the above findings in a pre-mobile infant, meaning, an infant that cannot walk, in the absence of a plausible history of significant trauma to explain the injuries, is indicative of abuse, head trauma, child physical abuse, and nutritional neglect, the officer wrote in an affidavit for a warrant that was obtained by the Register. So this goes back to 2018, the original case of which he was convicted in 2023 of the abuse, the physical abuse of this 10-week-old. Like, what world are we living in? What world are we living in that someone convicted of that is now taking care of another baby, right? Well, people have babies. People start families. And unless there was something prohibiting him from being around a child, some order, he's out on probation. I don't know if that was a condition of probation or not. Could have been made a condition of probation. All right, you don't want to go to prison for the abuse of this child. Well, you need to stay away from children of a certain age. That can be a condition. I don't know if it was, but we do know that he has this conviction and was on probation for this conviction when this child disappeared. So he's going to need a lawyer. He needed a lawyer for this case. He's certainly going to need a lawyer now, because if police know this, they're obviously going to look closer at him. So you've got this history with the father. You've got a mother who, according to law enforcement, whose story is showing inconsistencies, and she is confronted in her interview. So they shut it down and seek out an attorney. Like, that's an obvious step to take, because at this point of the case, they are clearly being looked at very closely by law enforcement. And the backdrop of that is they have a missing child. So either they are responsible for the missing child, or they are a victim. And if you are a victim, as the mother stated, she was a victim, you want law enforcement following up on the information you provided to help find your child. But if you are seem to be the focus of the investigation, that's not happening. That's a reason to get a lawyer, to kind of be the interface between you and the police, to make sure that you are not being looked at solely and that they are really looking for your child. Like, that presumes that they are victims. Now, if they're not victims, it's obvious why they need a lawyer, because the evidence is starting to be gathered by investigators. So there is a scenario in all of this where an innocent person and someone actually guilty involving the disappearance of their child would seek an attorney. And we've just come off this huge case where 85, somewhere between 65 and 85% of folks in the public believe that someone was being wrongfully convicted up in Massachusetts. You know the case I'm talking about. So There are scenarios where people have not committed the crime, need a lawyer. Now, I don't know what the temperature was in the room when the mother was confronted during this interrogation, uh, but I get it. But I get it. Like, you don't want, if your child is legitimately missing, right? And I don't know what the truth is here. You don't, I don't think you do either. We all have our suspicions and obvious suspicions based upon what we've seen already. But if you are factually innocent, your child is missing, and police appear to have tunnel vision solely on you, what would you do? You would shut it down with them because you're not going to win an argument with them. You get a lawyer and you say, listen, can you get them to, and what else do you do? I don't know. Do you hire a private investigator? How desperate are you? How vocal would you be? Well, first of all, I'd be very vocal, whether it's me personally or through a spokesperson. Every day, I'd be screaming at the top of my lungs that I didn't do this, whether it's me personally screaming it or my lawyer or a spokesperson screaming that we didn't do it. We need to find this child, and police are not looking for my child. If I was factually innocent, that to me, that's the appropriate response under this scenario. Well, you don't specifically have to be cooperating with police, but apparently, according to reports here, his lawyer is saying that he is cooperating. But publicly, if my child is missing, I'd be jumping up and down and making this about my child and not making it about the suspicion on me just by shutting down and never being seen or heard from again, whether, again, it's through my own voice, the voice of my lawyer, or the voice of a spokesperson. Because we've seen cases like this where a child goes missing, whether it's a baby or a child goes missing, and everyone's looking at the father. Oh, the father looks a little creepy. He looks a little creepy. But I've seen cases where the father comes out and continues to speak because he knows he's innocent and he knows his daughter is missing and is in danger. Elizabeth Smart. Boom. Okay, so this can happen. This can happen. People can look suspicious and be 1,000% innocent. However, as a parent, missing child, you are not going to sit back and just let the world continue to spin around and worry about your liability while your 7-month-old is somewhere in someone else's custody after being kidnapped. No. You're going to be jumping up and down in whatever form that it rears its head in. But you're not going to be quiet because you want the story to be about your child if your child is missing. You don't want the story to be about you. And the only one who can sort of turn that is you. You're the only one that can turn that. And by the way, if they're talking about you, they're also talking about your child. If they're talking about you, they're also talking about your child. But if you're factually innocent, you might be scared that police will zero in on you, look nowhere else, not find your child, and figure out a way to charge you. So the key here is the cooperation, and that is apparently happening according to the lawyer. Again, let me make this a little bit bigger. That's not making it bigger. That's not. The parents seek answers. Jake is fully cooperating with law enforcement and investigators. That's a good sign. If that's true, that's a good sign. But this is a case where you're talking about a baby, like that baby's picture has to be everywhere. So let's get the baby's picture up. We don't have great pictures of the baby. We have this one. The one on the flyer looked like it was a good picture. But ultimately, that's what the case is about. Now, here's the lawyer, by the way. Great first name, Vincent Hughes, family law and criminal defense lawyer. So a criminal defense lawyer. And that's what you deal with law enforcement. You need a criminal defense lawyer. Sorry, you just do. You just do. But there's two possibilities here. 100% innocent, 100% guilty. But who's guilty, right? This is the other part with the lawyer representing mom and dad or just dad. My guess is just dad, because I think this lawyer knows, experienced lawyer would know that mom and dad's interests may conflict at some point. They may conflict. I mean, if you're representing both of them, you really can't, because if they're both, under suspicion for whatever reason, it could turn out that one parent is more responsible than the other. One parent could be the victim of the other parent. We don't know. The lawyer wouldn't know. That's why the lawyer generally, in a situation like this where police have already said mom's story doesn't add up and dad has a history with infants, I mean, that blows my mind. Then there's inevitably going to be some level of a conflict here, and the same lawyer can't represent both. It's like in the Adelson case where the same lawyer couldn't represent Charlie and Donna. No, it doesn't work that way. Does not work that way. And here we're pre-charges. We're way pre-charges. We don't know what's going to happen here. But that's why there's a little bit more to this concept of lawyering up. It's not just, they're lawyering up, they're guilty. There's much more nuance to it. And I think everyone appreciates that. I think we just have to remind ourselves. I was concerned when they shut down and were no longer cooperating with police because two reasons. One, they're going to have information that no one else is going to have. Two, if you are factually innocent, you need to make sure as quickly as possible that you are cleared so all the efforts of law enforcement are focused on Ola Man. And again, I'm not saying Ola Man exists, but I'm not saying he doesn't exist. But under that scenario of 100% innocent, you need to make sure you are cleared as quickly as possible so police spend all their time, effort, and resources in finding Ola Man rather than using their resources like they are now to investigate the parents. By cooperating, you can get yourself cleared much quicker than if you don't cooperate. And that's the challenge. And again, that's why this lawyering up concept, and a lawyer can speed the process up, but the lawyer's in a tough spot because criminal defense lawyers approach this in different ways. Some want to know everything. Tell me everything. Meaning like, did you actually do it? Some don't want to know. And they're both effective ways that defense attorneys conduct business. Coming in though, pre-charges, again, some lawyers I can represent and protect your rights much better if I know the truth. Tell me the truth. But will the clients always tell them the truth? That's the other challenge. So you don't know. So here's the problem with being a lawyer in a situation like this in terms of the cooperation. If they tell you they're innocent, but they're not telling you the truth, and you help coordinate this communication, it can be problematic. So it's a difficult spot for everyone. It's a difficult spot. And then some lawyers will just shut it down and no, you're not going to talk, but you can talk through me. That way, the things I say can't be used against me, can't be used against you, right? So you sort of coordinate it and nuance it that way. But again, if you're innocent, like factually innocent, But will your lawyer trust you if you tell them you're factually innocent? Or will they take it with a grain of salt because they've represented a lot of people who've said they are innocent who were not innocent? So that's some of the issues, some of the nuance in all of this. So both mom and dad obviously have issues. Both mom and dad need their own lawyers. Can they afford it? Maybe. I don't know. I saw some, I don't know their situation. I really don't. But this is a lawyer who I'm sure is going to ask for a few dollars because that's what he does for a living. Unless he decided to do this pro bono for whatever reason, which would be crazy. Because you don't know where this is going to land. This could land in an indictment. All right, I'm going to check in with the comments a little bit earlier than usual and get in there, see who's there. And Sherry Clifton is very skeptical of the parents. Only question I have is, what did they do to that baby? And that's what's interesting, though, Sherry, is I would just take one step back, even if you believe they're responsible, which I think a lot of us are very skeptical of their story and very skeptical of what they're saying, is I really believe that there may be a difference between mom and dad, because generally speaking, do you think both parents at the same time would do something to a child, or would one parent do it and then the other parent is either covering up or in fear or, for whatever reason, doesn't want to lose their spouse or whatever and feel like that's more important than what happened to the child? I don't know. I don't see two parents ganging up on a 7-month-old and both doing what they did. Now, there may be some stuff after the fact. There may be cover up, but I believe in this case that one parent may be more responsible than the other. That I don't know who's who. But thank you, Sherry. Mm-hmm. Big girl for life, the trial king. Yes. King of trials. Thank you so much, big girl for life. King of trials. All right. Common Sense Investigator was on the program. Was it last night? I think it was last night. It was on my program last night. The dad's body language and statement analysis was terrible. Oh, it was bad. It was bad. The crying was bad. The crying was bad. I was like, afterwards, like, yeesh. I think we all kind of had that response. All right. Joy Wag, 2183, mom is abused. And that's a possibility. That needs to be part of the investigation. And that could be down the road. If that is true, there's your conflict between mom and dad. There's your conflict. Now, what will it take here for prosecutors? And thanks so much, Joy Wag. What will it take for prosecutors to charge in this case? Will it be enough? All right, prediction. You ready for a prediction? And we're seeing a lot of reporting. Did I grab any of it? Let me see if I grabbed some of it. I don't know if I did. There's been a lot of talk on social media from people who say they are, I don't think I see it, who say they were working at the sporting goods store and saying they did not see a baby. Now, the people posting may very well work there and may very well not have seen a baby. And there's been other people saying that they saw the black eye before the alleged incident. There's also been talk about them potentially going there the day before. And I don't know about any of this. There's also been posts from people saying that they worked at Big Five and were approached and interviewed by law enforcement and were told not to speak, but they decided to speak anyway, which they can. I don't know. It seems the investigation here is going to be very thorough, but it does seem the investigation is focused on the parents and on the home, because investigators were at the home. So they've gotten enough information, it seems, likely to get a warrant to go to the home. I believe they've seized mom's car where the diaper change was allegedly taking place. I don't know if they've seized the phones, but those are the obvious first places that you're going to go in the investigation. How will prosecutors handle this? What are they going to do? What they want to do, if they suspect mom and dad are responsible, but they don't have any proof of anything happening to the child. And what I mean in terms of proof of that is physical evidence, whether it's, digging up something in the backyard or finding forensic evidence in the house or an incriminating text message or something like that. If all they have is evidence that the baby wasn't at the football game that night, that the baby wasn't seen on a video camera, or the black eye was seen on a camera prior to that, witnesses saying, no, she was not in the parking lot with the baby. Like if you have any of that, I think investigators would go forward with charges of filing a false report, something where they want to be able to get mom and dad in custody, charged, to apply pressure because they want one of them to speak. Another reason why, when they get lawyered up here, that, hey, by the way, their interests are not going to be the same. The first one to speak, if they are responsible for what happened to baby Emmanuel, the first one to speak will get the deal. It may not be a sweetheart deal if we're talking about loss of life here, but that's why one lawyer really can't represent both of them. Just can't. Because whether they say so or not, there is a possibility that they are responsible, even if they say they aren't, to their lawyer. Their lawyer has to know in the back of his head, this could go bad. This could go south, and I can't represent both of you. So, and the way it was reported is that the lawyer represents dad, not mom. Okay. And some information here from DA Agu Z70. Yucaipa is nestled in the foothills of the San Bernardino Mountains in the Inland Empire between Big Bear and Palm Springs. Yeah, the middle of nowhere, right? Basically. The beautiful mountains, though, that you can see in the distance. Amazing, right? So, yeah. So it's interesting because you're kind of like on the way to Palm Springs, but from LA, right? You're kind of sort of in that area, maybe a little bit north of Palm Springs. I'm not sure. But that's where it is, for those of you wondering where Yucaipa is. Gelox, the best thing a person can do, guilty or innocent, is lawyer up. Most people don't know their rights or the law. The whole story is shady, but good for them getting a lawyer. Yeah, I think that's what I'm saying here. But if you are factually innocent and your 7-month-old is missing, you need to do more. You need to do more. And you need to move quickly, very quickly, because that child is missing. All right, Sandy Stone Frazier. I can't believe I haven't heard of this. What is the backstory? Let's get to the backstory. You want the backstory? We're going to play it because I think everyone needs to get refreshed. And every time we take a look at mom and dad tell the story, I think we see something different. So let's do it, Sandy. Here's the backstory. Let me just fast forward a little bit here. All right, so mom and dad are, here we go.
Tell them when your baby found.
And your names are?
Jake and Rebecca. We come to you guys asking you to help us find our son. He was abducted last night from Big Five. Somebody struck my wife while she was trying to change his diaper. And we just ask if anybody knows anything to please contact Ukaipa Police Department.
Don't hesitate, just call.
His name's Emmanuel.
Thank you.
He's 7 months. He's 7 months old.
Have you been notified of any information yet by local authorities? No, we have not.
They're
They haven't told us nothing.
They said they don't have any major updates.
Do you guys plan on just doing a local search of your own?
We are
Yeah,
at,
we
at
have a-
4 o'clock here at Kaipa.
The community set up a search party at 4:30. So just ask you guys if you could help us. You know,
Please.
this is what he looks like. He's just a baby. Just give our son back, please.
He was wearing a black onesie with a Nike swoosh on him. If you know anything, please come forward. Please. Please bring us back our son. Safe.
All right, Sandy. So that's basically the story. That is basically the story. 1 second. Just want to show you one other part of this that everyone's talking about. All right. Please stand by. Here we go. And a lot of people talk about mom's black eye. Right? So that's another part of this story. There we go. That everyone is talking about. She claims she's changing the diaper, is attacked by a man who says hola and then knocks her out. All she does is see white. She doesn't remember anything else. When she comes to, she looks around for Emmanuel, can't find him, runs into the Big Five sporting goods store, and that's where it all begins. Prior to being at Big Five with little Emmanuel, she was at her nephew's football game. And the backstory is that she was going to Big Five to buy a mouthpiece for the nephew. Didn't have a mouthpiece, needed a mouthpiece. That's the allegation. So that's the story. It's and obviously people are suspicious of the parents, but the parents are saying no, find our son. Find our son. Let's see. And here's Emily Jane, 7. That bruise is at least 2 weeks old. I believe she's protecting him because she's scared of him. Could he have hurt the baby? She tried to stop him and punched her, making her knock out on the floor. I think that's one of the possibilities. I think that's in play. I think everything's in play at this point. I think their story's still in play. You could have bad luck like that. We're covering a case on Court TV right now involving um, a man who's a convicted serial, and his daughter went missing and was red rummed, and he didn't do it. So it's possible. Well, that's what he claims, and that's what prosecutors believe. So it is possible to someone being a bad person, and something bad happens to someone that you love. So it's always possible. Everything's possible at this point. Ooh, look at this. Runs with scissors. Runs with scissors. There's video out there August 3rd where her eye was freshly blackened, where her eye was freshly blackened. Interesting. Now, here's the thing about the black eye. I think many of us have jumped on it and assumed that she's claiming the black eye is from the attack. Maybe she's not. Maybe, again, that's another coincidence. She had a black eye from something else, but also got attacked later on. That's another string of bad luck, but a possibility, because she did say that she didn't see Ola Man. She just heard him. And if you're bent over trying, with your door open, trying to change a diaper, and she got hit from behind. So and I talked about this in my first live stream about this, that the black eye, if it was from the attack, could have been from hitting something after getting knocked out. I don't know. But I think we all jumped on the black eye because she said she was attacked and she's got a black eye. So when was this black eye blackened? Oh, wow. This is troubling. Debbie Carroll, 5672. The grandmother is no better. Her Facebook has no mention of the baby missing. Yikes. Is she very active on her Facebook? Interesting. All right. I'm going to try to get current with the comments. I'm way behind again here. And Gen X, part of the mod squad here. Anyone have any questions? You can put a question mark before the comment. Oh, that's interesting. Yes, you can. Gen X, of course, part of the best mod squad in the business.
Order in the chat. Order in the chat. Don't dare attack. We've got order in this chat. The mod squad is on the job, helping us to keep it clean. The mod squad is on the job, always so nice and never mean. So let's give it.
All right, a big thank you to Gen X, Frankie Figs, Jennifer Soubet, and Ashley Bouchard, our mod squad. Ashley Bouchard over on Facebook. Everyone else over on YouTube. We're live streaming on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and X today. Thank you for joining us. Of course, we're talking about baby Emmanuel, trying to figure out what's going on here. But the headline is that it seems law enforcement investigating and focused on the parents, questioning mom, saying mom's story showed some inconsistencies, and actually confronting mom. They have said that publicly. So that's where we are. Here we go. We got moms buying more stuff. They are fake as it comes. Thank you, moms. Cheryl Sabin Hobbs, fake, 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 fake. Maria Paz, nah, I don't believe neither of them. Darshful, come clean, parents. Stop wasting our time. And Strack 13, missing kid. Yeah, this is interesting. Let's put this up. I'll show this 1 second.
To please contact you, Kaipa. Please.
Right here, and I got to drop your comment. If you look closely, the flyer actually says missing kid. I've never seen a missing kid flyer that actually says missing kid. But this one does. A little strange. Now, I don't know their level of sophistication. I don't like picking on people who might be a little less sophisticated and just don't know how to communicate. Like this, I can't imagine these two have ever been in front of television cameras and a crowd of people before. So you've got those nerves happening. Like I've seen, think about it. I've seen, and you've seen, I don't know if you watch these news bloopers, but I'm addicted to them. But you look at some of us in my business who go on television for the first time and they look like this couple and they're on television, like, because they want to be. So, you know, that I think that plays into some of their demeanor, but the crying stuff, it just did, you know, I don't know their baseline if that's how he normally cries, but I know when I get emotional, my voice goes up like 17 octaves. It's really weird. And I can't control it. It's really weird. Church of POS 2279. This has CA vibes. Yeah, so Zanny the Nanny or Ola Man. The infamous Ola Man. Crispy Treat 513. You'd think they'd be able to squeeze out a tear. April Diaz. Guys don't usually steal babies. That's a great observation. Babies. Guys abduct children. But do we have cases of men stealing babies?
Thank you, April Diaz. Have a great day today. Thank you, April Diaz. We appreciate everything you say. We all know she's a great fan, and we know the kind words she has. We always love to hear from you. Thank you, April Diaz.
Yes, thank you, April Diaz. I mean, it's a great point. It's a really good point. Doesn't fit the MO, right? If it was a young child, boy or girl, doesn't matter. Yes. I think exclusively in the cases I've covered through the years, I'm trying to recall one case of a man stealing a baby. A lot of them are hospital cases. Fascinating. Thank you, April Diaz. Pixie Dust 9342. Thank you, Vinny, for all of the cases you work on for justice. And thank you, Pixie Dust 9342. Are there really 9,342 Pixie Dusts out there? Maybe. Thanks for watching. This is a great one from Milky Way Girl 14. How long was she knocked out? Great question. Great question. What time did she get there? And I'm always, so I even said this on the show last night. One of the reasons I knew I would end up somehow connected to this business, I was addicted to like cop shows growing up. And we didn't have true crime shows, but we had cop shows. And cop shows like Cannon, Mannix, Barnaby Jones, Kojak, all of them. But really, like Barnaby Jones and Mannix and cases like that, you would see a lot of scenes where you can give someone like a karate chop on the neck and you knock them out cold. And she was attacked from behind. So, and I think you can be like, we see enough of these fight videos where someone just boom punches someone in the face and you see them just drop. Like they just drop. And that could be what happened here. Was she treated for a concussion? I would think if you get knocked out like that, you would be concussed. I don't know. I don't know. I want the answer to this question too, Milky Way girl. Megan Bean, why aren't law enforcement doing any pressers on this? Different agencies work differently. They have communicated through social media posts. So they've communicated. Probably they don't want to answer questions because it's an ongoing investigation and they can't really answer any. My guess is we'll probably see something if and when the baby is found, if and when there's an arrest. But yeah, sometimes what they'll do is sometimes with the parents, a joint press conference saying, where is this baby? Or they have a lead on the case. Like, have you seen this car? There's got to be some cameras out there in Ukaipa. There's got to be traffic cameras or I think there might be cameras in one of the stores there in the mall. Maybe not. Maybe that's why that mall was chosen. Who knows? Maria Paz, 2789. Remember Leilani Simon? I do remember Leilani Simon. I think she's in prison now for the rest of her life. Okay. Oh, Diagu is back. This stuff doesn't happen here in Ukaipa. We are neighborly and look out for each other. These monsters have brought a dark cloud to our beautiful town. Gypsy's mom, is this just another case of a phantom abductor? Right. So, hola, man, like that story can't change. That story cannot change. Mom's locked into it. But it can change, right? I say it can't change, but it can change. Why? We saw it happen down in Orlando. The original story was Zanny the Nanny. In the end, it had nothing to do with Zanny the Nanny. All of a sudden, it was an accidental drowning in a pool. So fasten your seatbelts. Things could change drastically in this one. And we got Peter J, 1971. Yo, Vin, Garden State Parkway, exit 114. 114. Is that Sayreville? Is that Sayreville? 114. I got to look that up now. Who do we have? Cheryl Hobbs sent in stars and asked a question, more of a statement. Let's see what Cheryl Hobbs has to say. Fake, fake, fake. I think I covered that one. Fake, 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 fake. Thank you, Cheryl Hobbs. Let me see. Garden State. I got to check this. GSP exit 114. Am I right? It's close. Homedale. Okay, Homedale. I should have known that. Homedale, Middletown. Thank you, Peter J. No swelling on that black eye. Maria Paz is coming to us all the way from Argentina. Fantastic. You know what? I may go to Argentina someday. So I heard they have some of the best Italian food in the world down in Argentina. How about that? All right. I'm going to try to get a little more current in the comments. I'm 10 minutes behind. I'm just zipping through them very quickly here. Chrissy Channel. What gets me is when the dad says he was changing his diaper. Who says that when your child is missing? Yeah, it was weird. It was awkward. However, I will say this. If you use the term diaper, like I've used that term. When talking to a child, you're going to change your diaper. You got to change your diaper, right? I think you can interpret that actually in a good way. That he communicates with his children. I don't know, or if he's trying to appear that way. I mean, it's awkward though. Like you wouldn't say that. You would. The only time you'd ever say diaper is like in the four walls of your own home if you're speaking with your child, or if you know what I mean. I wouldn't say that out loud. It's kind of weird. It is strange. A lot of people saying that. Gypsy's mom saying I need to oil my chair. Yeah. What do you got? What is that? WD-40? 41, whatever it takes. Maybe I'll work on that. Oh, by the way, folks, did you know that we have some great, fantastic, best in the business true crime merchandise available? Oh, yes.
Hey, everybody.
Hey, everybody.
I've got something for your body.
For your body.
You can wear it by yourself or with Frankie Valli. It's true crime merch from Vinny Originale. It's true crime merch. It's true crime merch. It's true crime merch from Vinny Originale. From Vinny Originale.
All right. Make sure you check out the True Crime Merch Shop. Get some of that great true crime merch. And by the way, I'll be out at CrimeCon for any of you planning to go. I'll be out there. Court TV has a big setup. I'm doing my show live. So there's an opportunity to be in the studio audience of the show. That's on Friday. Saturday, I'll be doing a meet and greet at the Court TV setup. Also, my pals, my Friday pals, the Tangents will be out there on Creator Row for the Tangent podcast. Alan Jonesy and me, and we'll have some fun giveaways, including this evidence bag. How would you like to go shopping with this evidence bag, huh? There you go. So we've got all that going on. So that's CrimeCon coming up, the 5th, 6th, and 7th out there in Denver. Although it's not actually in Denver. It's in Aurora. It's outside of Denver, very close to the airport, but not too close to Denver. So they're calling it Denver. Interesting. All right, we got a question here from Nikki5509. Vinny, are you related to Brian Kilmeade from Fox? You guys look like brothers. No, not related, and never met him. I've never met him. People say, Vinny, you work too much. Like Brian Kilmeade, that guy works around the clock. It's nuts. Between his radio show, his TV show, his live appearances, then he guest hosts and his guest appearance. It's insane. But no, not related. Not related. Me Alicia Jade or Alicia. Me Alicia. I love it when April Diaz comes on. Her theme song makes my toes tap. And McSpunkies always makes me smile. And they're sporting the allegedly shirts. Thank you, me Alicia Jade. Fantastic. Mm-hmm. Not clear if there are any other injuries other than the black eye. And it's not clear if she's alleging that the black eye is from the attack, the alleged attack. Dun, 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 dun. Maureen Cooper, 2929, sounds like Stephen Stearns Part 2. There you go. This is a great point from RTO, the 768. She was knocked out, but no one saw her lying on the ground. Right? So it's like, what, 7:30? They're open till 9. How long was she lying on the ground? Ooh, and the mother apparently to our local on the ground there refused medical services. Like if you get knocked out cold, you need to be checked for a concussion. But if your child is missing, would you leave and go to the hospital? Right? So there is that. You know, every fact, everything I try to look at with an open mind from both sides. You know, how can this be interpreted until we know the truth, or until I feel like there is enough incriminating evidence that I'm convinced, right? I'm suspicious, absolutely. I'm not yet convinced, because stranger things have happened and could happen. Hola, man. Will become legendary. Gen X, drop your exit if you're from New Jersey. That's one of the rules here in the chat. If you're from New Jersey, please, please, please. This is interesting. Norbert Pamet, 5465. She's another Jen Soto, which could be possible, right? Jen Soto is someone who was blind to the abuse, who allowed the abuse, who had this monster in her life and covered up for the monster. Now, this would be one step further, though, because the story is coming directly from Rebecca. Jen was parroting a story from Stephen Stearns, right? So there is a slight difference, but the similarities, the circumstances could be somewhat serious. Daisy, the Corgie's mom, WD-40 is legit. Yeah. There we go. Vice, W90. There's only one Vinnie Politan. Thank you so much. And I think that's true. I think there is only one Vinnie Politan. There are a lot of Politanos, right? You go back in the history of my family, go back to my grandfather, we were Politanos when we came to this country. But my grandfather had children, but no one would hire him. He got rid of the O, and suddenly he got a job. Amazing how that works back in the day. So that makes the number of Politans very limited, very limited. So there may only be one Vinnie Politan, although there is actually a second one, but he spells it with a Y, and that would be my son. So he does his Vinnie with a Y. All right. All right. I'm current with the comments. So that's where we are in all of this, folks. Let me say, do one thing here. All right. If you all could kindly hit the like button and hit the share button, depending upon which format you are on, that would be much appreciated. All right. And Belly Mayday. Vinny, what part in Italy? I'm from the Colonna clan, Calabria, a town called Amantea. Actually going to visit it this September. Going back to the homeland of my people. All right. So, folks, thank you so much for joining the conversation and watching the stream here, watching the video. Remember, you can watch me every night on Court TV, 2 hours of live true crime. No one else on television is doing it. Flick around all you want. There is nobody doing it on television 2 hours every night. 8 to 9, closing arguments with Vinnie Politan. There we cover breaking news of the day, the big trial of the day, etc. 9 to 10, Vinnie Politan investigates. We take a deep dive into one of the stories that we are covering. So tonight, obviously, we'll be covering this. We'll be covering the trial that we're covering on Court TV involving the serial daughter. That case. By the way, Cody will be on the case tonight, going to to some of the locations connected to the trial. We've got Matt Johnson, who's heading out to California to take a look at what's happening in Yucaipa on this story. So we'll have coverage of that. So Court TV every night, 2 hours live true crime, Monday through Friday. I'm Vinnie Politan. Make sure you are subscribed. Make sure you are sharing. Make sure you are liking. And then for those of you who don't know, who are here for the first time, I am also a type 1 diabetic. And one of the things we do at the end of the program is we guess my blood sugar. And once per quarter, we have a winner. Whoever guesses it correctly the most times in that quarter gets an item from the True Crime Merch Shop. So it's time to guess my blood sugar.
Here's a type 1. Here's type 1. His pancreas is on first. He has diabetes, type 1 juvenile diabetes. And so it's time to guess, is more or less. What's his blood sugar? What's Vinny's blood sugar? Under 70, he gets life's head. Under 60, all the alarms start ringing. Over 180, he starts to get lethargic. But when it's 90, Vinny, eyes are singing.
Boom!
So it's time to guess, is more or less. What's his blood sugar? What's Vinny's blood sugar? But take a guess. Yes,
have
take
a
guess.
winner. We have
Let's
a winner.
guess Vinny's blood sugar.
Hope you keep track at home. Things have been pretty steady here. Same blood sugar on 2 streams, 2 days in a row. That's never happened before. Anita Mayhew Wilson with the big victory today. I don't have my list in front of me, but is this her first or second win of the quarter? I am not sure. But I have to write it down. And then I've got to go through all my notes here. I'm going to write this down so I have it documented. 116 on the 19th. What are the odds of me having the same blood sugar 2 streams in a row? How about that? In different times of the day. But Anita's our winner, and I don't know if she has won previously this quarter or not. I'm just not sure. It is her second win of the quarter. So I think there's 2 people with 2 wins this quarter. We might have to have a showdown, like a showdown. All right. So the quarter is coming to a close. What is it? January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September. Okay. So we have till the end of September. So there's plenty more time. So congratulations to Anita. By the way, Ashley Bouchard, one of your guesses was 9. If my blood sugar was 9, I hope that was a typo. If my blood sugar was a 9, I would be down and out. Look at that. All right. So let's remove that comment. We'll remove this. And once again, say thank you, everyone, for watching. Make sure you watch the program tonight on Court TV. Both programs, closing arguments at 8 o'clock. Vinnie Politan investigates at 9 o'clock. In the meantime, have a great day. And as always, please don't forget to hug the kids.
Say goodbye. Thank you for watching Vinnie Live. We'll be back, but I don't know when. We hope that you will watch again. Vinnie Live. It's Vinnie Live. Whoa, it's Vinnie Live. To our awesome mosh. Thank you for those super chats. Please hit the like and do subscribe. Let's do it again on Vinnie Live. Now before you go, just one more thing. Please post below, say anything. Before you go, just one more thing. Please post below. Say anything, Thank you. God bless you. We'll see you again. Thank you. God bless you. We'll see you again.